Okay, I wanted to go over the test that we had with you to be sure you have all the right answers. So I would ask you get your test, your pen ready to fill in the right answers. So bile was the substance that emulsifies fat. Explain how emulsification assists. It is that the bile takes the lipids, our fats, and physically digests them, making smaller fat droplets or smaller pieces of fats or fats. Pacemaker of the heart was the SA node. Lots of you knew the full name. That was good. It is located in the right atrium. If you just said atrium, you only got half a mark. The Purkinje fibers are the fibers. They're the nervous fibers that cause the ventricles to contract. So many of you said they cause the heart contraction. Yes, but there's two parts of the heart contraction. So you had to say which part. So you could have said systole. That would have worked, but ventricular contraction would have worked. And that's what most of you miss. So causes ventricular contraction. Causes the contraction of the right and the left ventricle almost simultaneously. This question, so most of us got this question. They wanted you, if you look back up the question, the key parts, describe the vessel structure that facilitates this function. So the idea was to relate the structure to the function. So two possibilities for the arteries. They carry blood away from heart. And many of you said O2 blood, right? You want to be careful because that is not always true. What is always true about arteries? They always carry blood away from the heart. Always. The structure that makes them good at doing this, they have thick walls to withstand the high blood pressure. You could also say, and I think two people said could help in the regulation of BP, of blood pressure, and then the structure would have been the smooth muscle that can constrict or dilate to help to regulate. Veins are carrying blood back to the heart. And again, if you said low O2 or CO2 blood, this isn't always true. So we want to say something that is always true. Veins are defined by carrying blood back to the heart. And I'm sorry for these atrocious writing. They have valves was the best one, right? And this prevents backflow. Some of you said thin-walled. Yeah, so-so, not the greatest one. Capillaries are where nutrient and wastes are exchanged. Nutrients are delivered to the body cells, right? We should know this. This is where nutrient exchange, wastes enter the blood, nutrients enter the cells, and they are thin-walled to facilitate the diffusion of nutrients. They are also controlled. Blood into them is controlled by valves, by sphincters on the arterial side. They are narrow, would be the last one. And they have a high surface area. Many people said that. That would also work. Okay, next one, pancreatic juice. Have to say, pretty disappointed in this one, as we had spent a lot of time reviewing the enzymes, and we said know the components of pancreatic juice. Didn't really see this exhibited in the test. I saw that you had some ideas, but you didn't know, and that was the disappointing part. So, sodium bicarbonate, NaH. CO3. It changes the pH from 2.5 to 8.5 to basic. 1. So if you only identified sodium bicarbonate, you got half. If you didn't identify how it aids in the digestion of food, then you didn't get it, okay? Number 2 would be pancreatic amylase. And I don't know how many times we said this breaks down starch into maltose, the disaccharide. We did this a trillion billion times, did not see this translating into knowing anything. 3, lipase is our lipids into 3 fatty acids and 1 glycerol. Again, half for the name, half for the function. 4, trypsin, and again, polypeptides into peptides. The last possibility would be our nucleases, taking our nucleic acids and breaking them down into their subunit nucleotides. Water, 2 things we could have said, or 3 things actually. It is a solvent. It carries all the enzymes. It assists in lubrication. It's a lubricant. Also needed for hydrolysis. So any of those 3 would have got you the mark. This one, again, not really knowing what happened here because we examined this. So the blood is entering the capillary bed. This is a capillary bed. This is a blood vessel. So for all of you that were talked about lacteal, not really sure what you were thinking. Capillary bed, the name of the type of blood vessel that enters, either an artery or an arteriole. So some of you, for whatever reason, thought it was the iliac or the renal, right? No, no, no. 0.5, 0.5. Really, we should have been able to say it is the mesenteric artery or the mesenteric arteriole. That would have been fantabulous to see. So changes after you've eaten a meal. Well, glucose in the bloodstream is going to increase, go up. Insulin in the bloodstream would go up. Amino acids in the bloodstream would go up because you've digested your proteins, and this enters the blood. If you said fats, this is wrong because fats do not enter the blood. They enter the lymphatic system. Oxygen levels are going to go down. Carbon dioxide levels are going to go up. Oxygen is exiting the blood. Carbon dioxide, the waste from cellular respiration, is entering the blood. And that was about it. Last question. This was really a mechanics. You had to explain the mechanics, basically, of the heartbeat. And if you didn't understand, as some of you did not, that the AV valve on the left side, the left atrium and the left ventricle, right? This is blood that is returning from the pulmonary vein. So what you had to explain, that if the AV valve would explain if it's damaged, well, there's going to be backflow into the left atrium. So backflow. You didn't have to say that, but to explain it to you, when the left ventricle contracts. So when this part of the heart is contracting, blood is moving backwards instead of forwards. This is going to push blood back into the pulmonary vein. If blood is being pushed back into the pulmonary vein, pressure, as in blood pressure, builds up in the lungs And this is going to cause an accumulation, a buildup. I started "and," so accumulation of fluids of blood in the lungs. So that's what you needed. Okay, hope that helped.